I am the Solomonster, and this is your WWE Monday Night Raw review for March 20th, 2023. I am the Solomonster. Roman Reigns tonight did the unthinkable. He actually showed up to work on a Monday. When was the last time we saw Roman Reigns show up to Monday Night Raw? Was it the trial of Sami Zayn? Was it the tribal court segment on Raw 30? It might have been Raw 30. It's been a while. Roman Reigns was on Raw tonight. He had a face-to-face segment in the main event with Cody Rhodes. This was the second face-to-face segment we've had on TV here on the road to WrestleMania involving these two men. And both segments, I think, have been home runs. The last time that they went face-to-face was on SmackDown. I thought it was an excellent segment. Tonight was no different. Tonight they had the highlight of the night to close things out at the end of the show. Roman roasted Cody. He did make reference to Cody leaving the company and starting his own promotion. He couldn't take the heat. He couldn't handle it in WWE, so he left to go somewhere else and start up a company, and then he came back, and then his body failed him, and he popped his pec. He was going in hard. He was going in deep on Cody. Cody, though, I thought had a good comeback. I thought Cody gave it right back to him. This, to me, was the most compelling segment on the show tonight, a show that did not have very many compelling segments at all. In fact, this was the only one, really, of the entire night. But I enjoyed the back and forth between these two men. I thought it was exactly what it needed to be to get people excited to see Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. This is the main event of WrestleMania. This is the big match, the big main event this year. And I like the way that they are building this match up, and we still have 3 shows left to go. What are they going to do? We know Cody Rhodes is going to go one-on-one with Solo Sikoa on next week's show. That was something that Roman Reigns told Solo at the end of the show. You can have him next week. So we know that's coming. But so far, I like what they're doing. Still not convinced that Cody is going to be walking out with the championships at WrestleMania. But excellent stuff from the two of them at the end of the show. A show where I felt like they did the bare minimum. As far as a lot of the other programs, a lot of the other feuds here on this show, I thought they did the bare minimum. This was a very average episode of Raw. Do not let that excellent ending fool you. Certainly didn't fool me. You got 3 hours of television. It's nice they gave us a nice parting shot there at the end, but it didn't make up for what I thought overall was a pretty lackluster show tonight. That's what the other 2.5 hours gave us. The inevitable is now official. We now know what the Tag Team Championship match is going to be at WrestleMania. Let's be honest, we knew what the Tag Team Championship match was going to be at WrestleMania months ago. Tonight it was made official. It will be Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn teaming up to take on the Usos. We don't know which night, but we know that that match is going to be happening at WrestleMania. And that really is the only question left. Does it happen on night 1? Or does it happen on night 2? And I've got some thoughts about that. There's some chatter going on about where this match may be positioned. We're all talking about whether or not it's going to headline night 1, or is it going to be Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley. We may be asking the wrong question. It may not be a matter of where on night 1 is this match going to take place. It could very well be an issue of which night is this match going to take place. We'll talk about that. Edge made it very clear tonight that he wants the Demon inside Hell in a Cell, the Demon that we have not seen in quite some time. The last time we saw the Demon, he was face down in the dirt. Edge wants the Demon at WrestleMania inside Hell in a Cell. The Raw Women's title feud continues to plod along. This is honestly the most disappointing thing every week on Raw here on this road to WrestleMania, is the promotion and the buildup for Bianca Belair, who's going to be Raw Women's Champion for an entire year, defending her title against Asuka, right? This new and improved Asuka with the Kana face paint. She's supposed to have this new attitude. Tonight is the first time where we kind of saw a little bit of that, but, not really. This has been a massive disappointment. And even the crowd just sounds very apathetic every week when these two are out there and they're standing there awkwardly looking at each other and looking at the WrestleMania sign. There's no life there. It's a very cold feud right now. That is honestly the most disappointing thing about the show every week. And also, no Bray Wyatt, No Bobby Lashley. We got 3 shows left. We only have 3 shows left before WrestleMania. What is going to happen there, I don't know, but tick-tock. That's all I could say. Not a lot of time left to get that done. So anyway, we got a lot to get into here as far as Monday Night Raw is concerned. Do go ahead if you have not already done so. If you are new here, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I want to hear from you guys. We got super chats are open. We got the live chat zipping along here. And I do have to actually acknowledge a couple of people because there was some stuff. You're going to see the Ultimate Warrior here flexing on your screen quite a bit. Thanks to one Paul Hamilton, who I will get to here in a moment. But 500 likes. That is the goal tonight to be the booker later on. I need you guys to hit that thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up. 500 likes is the goal for tonight. Super chats are open. I have made changes to the list in the description. I have moved some things around. I've added some new super chats that you'll notice on the list. Jamie Dorsch. Earlier tonight, before I even went live, dropped a $100 super chat bomb on me. I think it was over an hour ago, actually, when he dropped that super chat. Jamie, you are a beast. They call Brock Lesnar the beast? No. Jamie Dorsch is the beast. You could also become a channel member. And you can see here, Shaquille Oatmeal, a lot of people are going to be popping up here on screen because one Paul Hamilton, good old Portland pop star Paul Hamilton, gifted 20, count them 20 memberships right before I went live tonight here on YouTube. So we have a lot of new members in our family. You know, look, I got to feed my family here. It's hard enough to feed the family as big as it is. Now you add 20, that's 20 more mouths to feed. I'm going to have to go out now and just forage for food here. That's how I look at it. It's 20 more mouths to feed. Paul, thank you very much. Paul is something else, man. Paul is one of the good guys, and I keep looking at the Warrior out of the corner of my eye here. But yes, indeed, if you would like to buy your own channel membership, you may do so. You could become part of our Green World Order. GWO. Applications are always open for the GWO. You know what else is open? This right here. You ask for it, ask and you shall receive. The brand new GWO t-shirt is now up on ProWrestlingTees.com. Go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Solomonster Sounds Off. And you can buy the new GWO t-shirt. How about that? See, I told you guys. You asked for it, and now you got it. But yeah, if you want perks like bonus content, early access to special features, brand new emojis for you to use in the live chat, that is what you can do if you want to become a channel member, if you want to gift memberships to people. I know, we picked up a lot of new ones during the Elimination Chamber stream, which was about a month ago, almost to the day. And so I know a bunch of those memberships had lapsed, or just expired. So if you would want to become part of the family again, I hope you'll reconsider. But we certainly have replaced some of those members here tonight. So let's get into this Raw show here. As you'll see, the Warrior will be my co-host here. Raw tonight opened with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn coming out to the ring together, finally back on the same page for the first time in a very long time. After what happened on SmackDown Friday night, we got the big hug at the end of the show. Sami got on the mic and, he said he was wrong. Sami admitted that he was wrong for approaching Kevin over the last month or so as if it was some sort of business transaction. He goes, that was wrong of me. I was approaching the situation wrong. He said, we've always done things like brothers. And that's how I should have approached you in the first place. Owens said Zayn was right about trying to take down the Bloodline together. They both looked up at the WrestleMania sign at the moment that Jimmy and Jay, the undisputed tag team champions, walked out to the ring. Jay mocked Owens and Zayn by saying that they're the type of family that cuts each other's throats. I know a few families like that. Zayn said that was funny coming from Jay, given that Jay has a dream himself to backstab Roman Reigns. Jimmy said that Sammy was dreaming, looking up at the WrestleMania sign, because nothing was going to happen at WrestleMania. Kevin Owens said there was only one place to settle things, and he called for a match at WrestleMania between both teams for the Undisputed Tag Team Championship. It says, you and your brother against me and my brother, which led to a round of yes chants
the amazing Gunther
from the crowd.
Jerry Lawler loves Gunther the Magnificent. All hail Gunther. All hail the mighty Supreme Leader himself, the mighty Gunther. Straight from the Portland pop star himself, Paul Hamilton.
Paul Hamilton dropping a $50 Gunther super chat in addition to the 20 gifted memberships on this channel. Paul, I'm going to have a plaque made or something with your name on it. I'm going to have to put it on the wall. You see where these belts are? Right there. We got some open space there. I may have to put a plaque with his name right there on the wall behind me. Although it's mirrored, so his name would be reversed. But Paul, thank you very much, man. Paul, you're awesome. What more can I say that I haven't already said? Paul is one of the OGs here on these streams. Thank you very much. Appreciate the support. So Jimmy said that he and his brother are the greatest tag team in the world. You hear that, Young Bucks? You hear that, Matt and Nick? They're the best tag team in the world. And FTR, you could throw them in there too. Usos, throwing some shade here. Best tag team in the world, they said. While Owens and Zayn have only been on the same page for a few minutes, they aren't deserving of a tag team title match. And he said that there would be no match at WrestleMania. Jay, though, had a different idea. So just when it looked like Jimmy was saying no, he was rejecting their idea, Jay chimed in and said, you know what, though, when you think about it, this is our one shot to get rid of our Kevin Owens problem and our Sami Zayn problem. We can get rid of both of them in one night. And so Jay said that they could put that problem in the dirt, and he then accepted the challenge. And Jimmy seemed okay, even though Jimmy just said no. Jimmy seemed to be okay with that, and so it is now official. Tag team titles will be on the line at WrestleMania. It'll be the Usos defending against Owens and Zayn. They ended up brawled outside the ring. Owens and Zayn then brought Jay back into the ring. Sammy delivered a super kick, or Owens, I should say, delivered a super kick. Sammy was setting up for the haluva kick, but as Sammy came out of the corner, Jimmy reached in, pulled his brother out to safety. You got to save that for WrestleMania. I mean, you can't have Sammy giving the haluva kick to Jay before WrestleMania. That's got to be the big climactic moment of that match. The only way that match should end is with Sami Zayn beating Jey Uso. So he pulled his brother out to safety. So the Usos went and grabbed chairs, and they were going to use them until they looked up at the Tron. And on the big screen, we saw the SUV pulling into the arena. And out comes Solo Sikoa. Out comes Paul Heyman, and out comes the man himself, the undisputed champion, Roman Reigns. I wonder if maybe Roman was looking around going, wait a minute. Came to Raw? Not supposed to be here. We took a wrong turn somewhere. Roman Reigns does not like Monday Night Raw. I don't blame him. For Roman Reigns, it's a rare sighting when we says, like, you have a better chance of seeing Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster, or a Mets season without injuries and without devastation than you do seeing Roman Reigns here on this channel on Monday nights. So I thought this was a very straightforward segment. It set up the inevitable match that I think we all pretty much expected. And the only question now is, which night is the match going to air? And again, I will talk about that later on in the stream. After I talk about the Roman and Cody segment, we'll talk more about that. But I thought this was fine. This accomplished what it needed to accomplish. We had Austin Theory. Oh, before I get to Austin Theory, Nick Grasso. Thank you for the $20, Nick. Mr. Grasso coming in with the 20 spot. Thank you, sir. Austin Theory, one-on-one with Montez Ford. Now, last week, Theory beat Angelo Dawkins. And so this week, it was Ford stepping up. You better get used to this, because I think this could be like a Cena-Orton level feud. And what I mean by that, not that we're going to see it so many times I want to puke, but just as far as those two young guys on the roster who end up, engaged in a feud at the top of the card. We see them, over a period of many years working together. This could be that. These two guys are going to find themselves at the top of the food chain, I believe, in this company for many more years to come. Austin Theory, he's already being groomed for that spot, right? He's got a match at WrestleMania with John Cena. Montez Ford is not there yet, but you could tell. The signs are all there. Putting him in the Elimination Chamber match. I believe that he'll definitely be in this year's Money in the Bank match. He may be in the King of the Ring tournament this year. This is going to be the breakout year as a single star for Montez Ford. And we're going to be seeing, I think, a lot more of this in the future. Maybe even coming out of WrestleMania for the United States Championship. I could see them putting these two guys back together and having a formal program. And maybe even a pay-per-view match out of it. What we got here from them in this match I thought was good. Theory got his eye busted up a little bit. Nothing major, but you could see there was some redness. The referee put the black gloves on. I couldn't tell exactly where the cut was, but his eye got busted up a little bit. There was some blood dripping down his face. Theory won with the 8-count down. After the match, he took the microphone, said that Montez Ford didn't believe in him, and now he does. And he said, and John, you don't believe me either. You don't believe in me either. But you will. After WrestleMania, you will. Now, there's been some chatter that if his shooting schedule allows for it, we could get a John Cena appearance on the final Raw next Monday before WrestleMania. They didn't announce anything tonight, but there is the possibility that we could get a Cena appearance next week. So we go back to the Bloodline locker room, and Roman was sitting there with Paul Heyman and Solo Sikoa standing in the background. The Usos sat down, and Jimmy told Roman that nothing can hurt him more than being torn away from his brother, from his own brother, and then to have to sit here and answer for it like it's his fault. And Roman started to look at him like, excuse me? But Jimmy continued. He's told Roman, he goes, I will never forgive Sami Zayn for that. Roman then told everybody to leave the room. Everybody went to go get up to leave the room. He stopped Jay. He said, except you. You stay. So everybody left the room. Jay stayed on the couch next to Roman. And that took us into the commercial break. We come back from commercial, back to Roman and Jay. He told Jay, I haven't seen you. I haven't heard from you. Said that I had to beg your brother for answers, and now you're out there, you're making decisions. You're announcing title matches. He says, to make decisions, you got to be a part of the bloodline. Are you with us? Are you still my family? Jay told him he's with him. Roman told him that he hopes so. And he said, that's all I needed to hear. So Jay went to go leave. Roman stopped him before he could leave. And he told him that he loved him. After Jay left, almost in a very creepy way, Paul Heyman suddenly came back into camera view. He asked Roman, Tribal Chief, did you get the answers that you were looking for? And Roman said that he did. So more mind games. This man has been manipulating Jey Uso now for the better part of 2.5 years. This poor bastard is still being manipulated by Roman Reigns. Which is why I've been saying the real story here, when everybody was belly aching over Sami Zayn not winning at Elimination Chamber, and what a mistake it was for them not to put the titles on, on Sami in Montreal and all of that. Reality is, this is the Jey Uso story more than it's the Sami Zayn story. And how it's going to end, I don't know. I would hope that at some point, whether it's WrestleMania, Jey causing Roman to lose, or turning his back and walking away from Roman when Roman wants, his help in his time of need. He turns his back on Roman, and that, in effect, cost Roman the championship. Or maybe Roman doesn't drop the titles, but this story with Roman and Jay is not going to be over on April 2nd. So the ultimate kind of finale of all this, I think, is going to involve Jey Uso, and it'd be very poetic to have Jey be the one to either cause Roman his downfall, or to come back around to what they were doing at the end of 2020, and we get a match between Roman and Jey Uso at some point later this year, maybe later in the summer. But in the meantime, he's still playing mind games with this guy. Byron Saxton was in the back trying to interview Adam Pearce when he was interrupted by Chelsea Green. And Chelsea said that she had matching gear made for her and her tag team partner, Carmella, who is not available tonight. Carmella was not on the show tonight. They actually gave Chelsea a new partner. So I don't know what's going on with Carmella. There was nothing mentioned about an injury. I didn't notice anything on social media if she's, again, on a trip or something, doing PR for the company, which really wouldn't make sense. She was supposed to be on the show tonight. So hopefully, there's no injury or illness issues going on here. Because I actually like this pairing. I've said that over the last few weeks. There's not a whole lot about Raw right now that I find terribly exciting, but I actually think it was a smart thing to put the two of them together as a pairing. And here, Carmella's not here, and so Chelsea says that she wants Adam Pearce to agree to her new tag team partner, someone else who has no love lost for Asuka or Bianca Belair. And in walks Piper Niven. Chelsea told Pearce that she also wanted to be part of the WrestleMania Showcase 4-way match and demanded that he make it happen, or else she would go online and she would complain on social media. I don't think that's something any wrestling fan can relate to. Complaining on social media? No. I've never heard of such a thing. Tony Khan puts a graphic up on social media only a few days ago showing Kenny Omega against Vikingo on Dynamite this Wednesday, and you would think the whole fucking world was upside down. They aired a video package for Brock Lesnar against Omos at WrestleMania, focusing on Lesnar's reach and his size and his accomplishments, and it was also focusing on his career in UFC champion. For Omos, they focused on how big he is. They made sure to mention that he's 2 inches taller than Shaquille O'Neal. So Omos and MVP were out to the ring next for Omos one-on-one with Mustafa Ali. And Mustafa Ali shocked the world tonight when he rolled up Omos and he pinned him. No, I'm just fucking with you. Omos beat him with a tree slam. It was over in under a minute. What else did you expect? Based on the video package, though, they're treating this like a real fight. And they already announced next Monday on Raw, Brock is going to be back. They're going to do a weigh-in. So we'll get the Brock Lesnar-Omos weigh-in on next week's show. The sooner this is all over, the better. That's all I need to say. In the back, Logan Paul emerged from his locker room, but he was not alone. He had the old man with him. When I say old man, I'm not talking about Ric Flair. He had his father, Greg Paul, another winner. So his father was there. The two of them come out. They're walking down the hallway because Logan is getting ready to come out to the ring for his Impaulsive TV segment. As they're walking through the hallway, The Miz pops out. And he's trying to suck up to Logan Paul, talking about how, so what's the plan tonight? He thinks he's going to be a guest on his show. And Logan blows him off. Basically just laughs at the guy and says, you're pathetic, leave me alone. He didn't say that. His eyes said that. I said it for him as I sat here watching this show. I said, you're pathetic. Go away. And they kept walking down the hallway. So Logan came down to the ring by himself. Did not have his father with him. He came down to the ring by himself for an episode of his Impaulsive show. And he said that, I don't have to do this. I've already made my millions. And there's only two people in the building tonight that love me. My father, who he pointed out in the crowd. They didn't show him, but I guess, he made his way into the crowd. And the other person was some kid in the crowd holding up a sign for his Prime energy drink. And he told the kid, "I love you." He goes, "Those are the only two people in this building that love me tonight." He insulted all the dorks in the audience and mocked the idea that any of his celebrity friends would be caught dead, in a dump like St. Louis, which got quite a bit of heat. He said, "Get real. They'd be out of here faster than the St. Louis Rams."
Gunther. Jerry Lawler loves Gunther the Magnificent. All hail Gunther. All hail the mighty Gunther. Making his second appearance on the show tonight, Gunther. Everybody must bring a sacrifice to the altar, hand it off to Gunther, or else he will be banished from the kingdom.
You all better bring something for Gunther next week. You don't bring him gifts or something valuable, you're out of here. That's all I got to say. Was that Fahad? It was. It was Fahad. Fahad, thank you. Thank you, Fahad, for the $58 super chat. Gunther with us as he is every week. Not very happy because many of you did not bring gifts. Gotta bring gifts. Gotta bring gifts and gotta please Gunther. So he made fun of the St. Louis Rams. He laughed, corrected himself, and said the Los Angeles Rams. Los Angeles being where he will be on his 28th birthday to wrestle Seth Rollins or WrestleMania. That's April 1st. So they're going to have a match on night one. He had the truck replay the footage of him knocking out Seth Rollins 2 weeks ago on the show and superimposed a clown emoji over Seth's face. All of a sudden, Logan's mic began to cut in and out, and they handed him a new mic. It was still cutting in and out. We saw Seth Rollins on the screen. He was back in the truck, sitting at the controls, and he pushed the button to play his music, and he danced through the backstage area on his way to the ring. And he got in the ring, and instead of doing his usual shtick, Rollins, who was in a leopard print suit, he just went right after Logan Paul. Time for talking was over. He attacked Logan, tackled him. They wound up on the floor outside. He tackled Logan over the announce desk, and Rollins then got in the ring. He climbed up to the top rope. He dove off the top rope onto two security geeks on the floor because he was going to go for a big elbow drop through the announce desk. One of them had pulled Logan off the table, and so at the last second, instead of doing that, he ended up diving on these two security geeks outside. Almost landed on his head, too, by the way that he landed. He was very lucky that he wasn't hurt. When he got up, though, I guess he did get hurt because Logan Paul decked him. Second time now in 2 weeks, knocked him out cold. Face down on the ground like the demon. Down goes Seth Rollins. And Logan Paul said that the next time, third time's a charm, referring to WrestleMania, which probably means that that's the last of Logan Paul that we are going to see until WrestleMania. He's so much more natural as a heel. I mean, I know this is not news if you pay attention to these shows. And I said it when they first signed him and were putting him in matches. I said, "What are you doing?" Yeah, not that he didn't do a good job of getting himself over, but this guy is a natural heel. He is a naturally made heel. And now he is in the right role. He was in the role now that if he's going to be in wrestling, this is the role he was born to be in. So I thought he was good here in this segment. And I think that these two were going to have an excellent match at WrestleMania. We had Dominic Mysterio with Damian Priest in his corner against Johnny Gargano, who had Dexter Lumis in his corner. Before the match, they showed footage from NXT last week of Grayson Waller. I don't know how many of you watch NXT. I don't get the sense that it's a huge number of you who watch NXT week to week. Maybe you catch bits and pieces of it. That's why I watch it, so you don't have to. And I talk about it not every week, but most weeks on the podcast. And we are heading into Stand and Deliver, which is their big WrestleMania weekend show. In fact, the day of WrestleMania Night 1. afternoon, 1 o'clock Eastern Time, Stand and Deliver is going to be airing on Peacock. And the big main event is Braun Breaker defending the NXT Championship against Carmelo Hayes. Two men who, before long, you will be seeing on the main roster. Grayson Waller, I think, is also, in the not-too-distant future, going to be on the main roster. Wouldn't surprise me if coming out of WrestleMania, they call him up to Raw or SmackDown. My guess would be he goes to Raw. I could see them wanting to do something with him and Miz, putting them together in some way. Miz is like, I don't know if gatekeeper is the right word, but like Miz, he's had so many partners and allies. It's almost like when you get called up, it's like a rite of passage that you have to buddy up with the Miz. I could easily see Grayson Waller, who people call like a discount Miz on NXT, coming up to Monday Night Raw, and they put him and Miz together. They become like a new team. But Grayson Waller attacked Johnny Gargano outside of Johnny's house last Tuesday. This is because Johnny Gargano has returned to NXT. He is going to be wrestling Grayson Waller at Stand and Deliver. Shawn Michaels made the announcement last week. And this goes back to when Johnny left NXT a couple of years ago. His final segment at the Performance Center, Grayson Waller attacked him. So there's a history there. Johnny is back for revenge. Well, last week, Waller attacked Gargano outside of his house, right in front of his wife and kid, curb stomped him on the dirt. So they showed us highlights of that. You would think, as I did, that Grayson Waller was going to make a cameo appearance here and probably cost Johnny Gargano the match, but you would be wrong. We did not see Grayson Waller tonight on this show. Gargano, though, did have his ribs taped up. If you were wondering why were his ribs taped up, that's why. From the attack last Tuesday. And so Dominic was working over the ribs for a good part of the match. Late in the match, Gargano put Dom on the top rope, and he was reaching up and working him over with chops to the chest. So he joined him up on the ropes. Dominic, though, fought him off, and he dumped Gargano to the mat face first. Got him like in a suplex position, but just dropped him face down on the mat. And then Dominic hit a frog splash to Gargano's back and the injured ribs. Rolled him over and pinned him clean in the middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3. After the match, Dominic took the microphone. He said last Friday, his sorry excuse for a father once again rejected his challenge to a match at WrestleMania. However, he's going to be in Las Vegas for SmackDown this Friday night, and it's his understanding that the entire the entire Mysterio family, well, he is, Eddie's son. The entire Mysterio family is going to be on SmackDown. Now, he didn't say why, but he said that from what he understands, they're all going to be there, which would include his mother. I presume Aaliyah will be back. Remember Aaliyah Mysterio and her love storyline with Buddy Matthews? Or Buddy Murphy, I guess he was. Was he Buddy Matthews or Buddy Murphy? I guess it would have been Buddy Murphy at the time, or just Murphy. It's gone through so many names. So the family is going to be there on Friday. He said the same family that blocked his number and kicked him out of the family group chat. Then he said the Judgment Day group chat is much better anyway. He thinks that he's come up with a way. He's come up with a plan to get Ray to finally agree to the match by asking his mother for permission for him to accept the challenge. That is, of course, if Ray has Angie's permission to remove his balls from her purse. This was a rare win for Dominic without any Judgment Day interference. You know, typically we see Damian Priest out there or Rhea Ripley is out there and they distract or they interfere in some way. There was one spot here where Dominic tried to use the ropes for leverage to win. The referee caught him. Other than that, though, that didn't factor into the finish. This was as clean of a win as you'll see Dominic getting on television. And now we know where they're going to do the big angle to finally get Rey Mysterio to agree to this match at WrestleMania. It's going to be on SmackDown this Friday. You know, a lot of us were wondering if they wait until the Hall of Fame, what's Dominic going to do, figuring that Angie would factor into this in some way. Well, we don't have to wait for the Hall of Fame because the family is going to be there on Friday. And so instead of waiting until after all of your television shows are done airing shoot the angle on Friday, you'll still have one full week left to promote the actual match. You know, you can get the two of them back in the ring together on television next Monday or next Friday for that one last sort of, you know, impassioned face-to-face promo before they go to battle at WrestleMania. So it looks like they're going to shoot the angle on Friday instead of waiting to make it official until the night before WrestleMania, which is when the Hall of Fame is. And I'll be talking about the Hall of Fame here in a second. The Usos and Solo Sikoa were hanging out and shooting the shit while Solo was just standing there, stoic. But Jimmy and Jay were shooting the shit in the hallway outside of Roman's dressing room. Paul Heyman came out of Roman's locker room and asked them, "Are you waiting for the tribal chief?" He was in a very good mood. And he said Roman wanted them to go to the jet. Go to the jet for a feast. He goes, the shrimp is there. The mahi-mahi is there. Any of you try mahi-mahi? I've never had mahi-mahi before. So I cannot say whether it's good or not, but Jey Uso was very excited to hear about the mahi-mahi. Heyman said that Reigns wanted them to take the rest of the night off and indulge. So they went to go leave, and Heyman stopped Solo and said, "Solo, not you. You get inside." And so Heyman went inside with Solo. Jay looked at Jimmy and said, "Well, more mahi-mahi for us, I guess." And off they went. And then we had Edge, who was not live on the show tonight, but we got a pre-tape promo in a dark room somewhere with candles that looked like it was filmed on a potato. I don't know what look they were going for with this, but the video quality of this was awful. This was terrible. And all we could see was Edge's head, because it was so dark, and it was almost like he kind of putting popping his head out there with the candles all around it, but you couldn't see his body. It looked like a floating Edge head. That's what this was. This was a floating Edge head if it was recorded on a VCR in 1998. And he said that he would not apologize for what he is going to do inside Hell in a Cell to Finn Balor. He said that he was baptized inside Hell in a Cell by The Undertaker himself. He recalled hearing Balor a few weeks ago say that hell could not handle his demon. Edge told him to leave Finn at home and bring your demon. I would like to meet him and introduce him to the devil. So this was the devils. This was the demon. This will be the demons. I guess the demon would be the devil, right? It can be. This will be the demon's first appearance since Extreme Rules in 2021 against Roman Reigns. The demon has been in exile ever since. He was banished, hanging his head in shame after the way that match ended. This is going to be the first time he dons the paint as a heel on the main roster, because it's a total babyface gimmick. So the reaction is going to be very interesting when he comes out of WrestleMania, because I think it'll be, at least somewhat of a split reaction. And it's been, a year and a half, whatever, since we've seen the demon. I know some people like the demon. The kids probably like the demon. As far as I'm concerned, the demon is dead. But the reaction will be very interesting, because this will be the first time we see the heel, the gimmick used as a heel gimmick and not a babyface gimmick. But yeah, I don't know what the hell Edge or the creative team, I don't know what they were going for with the look and feel of this promo, but this didn't work for me. Then we had Rhea Bloody Ripley out to the ring by herself. No other Judgment Day members out to the ring for a promo, for a chat. And they aired footage of her pull-apart brawl on SmackDown from last Friday with Charlotte Flair. She said that she doesn't live in the past. Charlotte doesn't want to think about the future, and that's why she keeps talking about their match from 3 years ago, at WrestleMania 36, when Rhea was first trying to prove herself. Rhea said that Flair considers herself a leader of the women's division, but leaders respect others. And she said that she knew after their match that Flair did not respect her. And at this point in the promo, the dweebs in the crowd started chanting, "What? What? What?" after everything that she said. and she called them pathetic. I agree. But I also blame her for this because it was a light chant. It wasn't like the whole building was chanting it like they were during other parts of the show. They were doing it to Logan Paul. They gave Logan Paul, like everybody in the building gave Logan Paul the what treatment. Here it was relatively light. When you acknowledge it, all you're doing is encouraging more of it. Now for Logan Paul, it worked. In certain segments, it works. They incorporate it into their promo, and they want to encourage it. In this case, she was not trying to encourage it. She didn't want them to keep doing it. She didn't have to say anything. So when you acknowledge it like that sometimes, all you're doing is, again, you're giving them a reason to continue to do it. I cannot believe as I sit here right now, it is 2023. It has been 22 years of this fucking dumb chant, and it is still going strong. And for the people wondering, well, when is it going to go away? It's never going to go away. It's been 22 years. This is part of wrestling now. It will never go away. I don't get it. Ripley said that she brings out all of Flair's deepest insecurities that she tries to mask as confidence. And Rhea kept getting up when she got knocked down, while Charlotte tried to keep people down. But Charlotte's time is up. It was time to go home, where Charlotte meant nothing because without WWE, she was nothing. Ripley said that she doesn't care about Flair's insecurities or whether she respects her. Ripley said that she will become a champion at WrestleMania. She will be the biggest star in WWE. She said that when Flair sees her holding her crown above her head, Flair will know that all of her insecurities are true. She said, I don't need you to respect me, but you will fear me. So she repeated the whole "you will fear me" line. She used that on Friday in that promo that she did. Otherwise, honestly, this felt very flat to me. I thought this was a very plotting promo here. I don't know if it was overly rehearsed or just what it was about it. I didn't think this was one of the better promos that she's done. And it did, in a way, it did kind of feel like a bit of a rehash of what she already said last week. So I wasn't a huge fan of this. Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky interrupt. Oddly enough, we had the heel trio of Damage Control coming out to interrupt the heel Rhea Ripley. Bayley said that she was waiting for Rhea to say her name. When she was talking about leaders, she said that if Ripley was looking for tips on how to beat Charlotte, she should have asked her. Since she beat Charlotte in her very first WrestleMania, and that is correct. Bayley did win the four-way match that Charlotte was involved in at WrestleMania 33. Ripley said that she didn't need any help from them, and Bayley said that Raw is their show, and it was time for Damage Control to teach her a lesson. Ripley laughed and said that if one of them wanted to try to get her out of my ring, then go ahead. Bayley said that she was the only member wearing ring gear, so it was going to be her. Adam Pearce in the back. They cut to the back, and we see Adam Pearce at the gorilla position watching on the screen what's going on. And he grabs a referee. It might have been Eddie Orengo. I don't remember, but there was a referee there. He grabbed the referee, told the referee to go to the ring. We're going to have ourselves an impromptu match. So Bayley worked the match in her street clothes, or I should say Ripley did. Ripley worked the match in her street clothes. And this did not have much heat because it was two heels going one-on-one. So, the crowd wasn't exactly sure who should we be cheering for here. They also had some rough moments early on. It did get better, though, towards the end. But there were a few moments where there was one spot in particular where Rhea had whipped Bayley into the corner, and she came running in. And when she came in, clearly, I guess Bayley was supposed to do something and didn't, so she just sort of stood there and then started punching her again, and I think they redid the spot. So there were a couple of moments like that, but again, it did get better as it went on. During the match, Becky Lynch, Lita, and Trish Stratus walked out. Becky had a big old bag of popcorn that she was eating out of as she came down to the ring. After a break, Rhea kicked out of a belly to Bayley at 1. And Rhea got her in the prism lock submission that she does, but Bayley got to the ropes to break the hold. Dakota Kai and Io Sky, they got involved, so Trish and Lita fought them off. and Rhea hit the Riptide for the win. This was not the most exciting way to build up that trios match at WrestleMania with Damage Control and Becky and Lita and Trish. We've got Trish Stratus and Lita back on TV now weekly, and I just feel like it should feel like a bigger deal than it does. I know they're older now, and probably a whole generation of fans who just frankly aren't familiar with their work. But I don't know. I feel like this should be feeling bigger than it is right now. It just sort of feels tacked on. There's been talk of Trish going heel coming out of WrestleMania and working a program into the summer with Becky. So we'll have to see if that ends up happening or not. When Trish came back about 5 or 6 years ago and she had that SummerSlam match with Charlotte, it's a very good match. And at that point, Trish had not wrestled in a number of years, and they had a very good match at SummerSlam. So if Trish does work a singles program with Becky, I'm very curious to see if we can get, if she can pull another good match out, because it's different being in a trios match. You don't have to shoulder the load in a match like that. A singles match is very different, though. But even Lita, when Lita came back at the Saudi Arabia show, I think it was last year, and had that match with Becky. I remember that being a probably a better match than I expected it to be. So we'll see if they shoot an angle at WrestleMania. Maybe Trish goes heel. I think that's kind of interesting. Keeping Becky out of the world title picture, you've got to have something for her to do. Becky is still the biggest star they have in the women's division. She is. Some people would say Charlotte, Rhea. Rhea's getting over. Becky is still their biggest female star. Again, Charlotte Flair may disagree, but it's Becky Lynch. And she doesn't need to be fighting for the championship for a while, because she already had the championship for a while. Been there, done that. It's time for other people to get an opportunity. Well, then what do? That's why I'm not against the idea if they did want to do a program with her and Trish, because I don't know that there's anybody else, frankly, on that roster right now that is prepped for a feud with Becky Lynch. We'll see if they do anything at WrestleMania. Backstage, Chad Gable was searching for his boy. He was searching for Otis. Couldn't find him. Until he stumbled upon Otis. He was getting a manicure in the back, wearing only a white towel around his waist with cucumbers over his eyes. So there's the visual for you. Gable said that he got them in the four-way showcase ladder match. Four-way showcase match. It's very late. It's after midnight. It's time for bed. It's been a long day. Don't even ask. It's been a long day. The four-way tag team showcase match at WrestleMania. He spoke to Adam Pearce. He got them in the match. Right? So he's telling Otis the exciting news. He said he also got a match with Ricochet tonight, and he needs Otis because Ricochet is going to have Braun Strowman in his corner. So I need you in mine. Maxine Dupree showed up. She complimented Otis on his nails. She said that she scheduled Otis with a photographer, and Gable asked about the Maximum Male Models. Weren't they supposed to have a match tonight with Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson? And Maxine said that it was postponed again due to Massey overexposing his cheekbones. I guess, again, he was not cosmetically cleared. Just like a few weeks ago when Mansois was not cosmetically cleared. By the way, this is becoming a running joke now with these Anderson and Gallows matches that are advertised and then never happen. This is the second or third time, I think second time, that they've done this. Easiest money those two guys have ever made in their entire lives. Coming back to WWE. Easiest money they'll ever make. Best decision of their careers. Otis then had to choose between going with Maxine for the photographer or going with his coach out for his match. I figured he would go with Maxine. He turned to Gable and go, "Let's go, coach." And he left with Gable. Idiot. We got a new WrestleMania movie parody. And I've been begging for a good one because I haven't really been impressed with the ones they've done so far. I just don't think they're that funny. And a lot of them are also very short. So we had, this is the best of the bunch. We got the best one tonight. The best one so far. I think we probably get one more next week. I had heard there was a rumor that they had done a Bloodline one, in the, I guess, parodying the Goodfellas movie. So that may be the one that we get next week. But the one that we got tonight had Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, Ridge Holland, and Butch in a remake of the 40-Year-Old Virgin. It was the chest waxing scene. Ridge all of a sudden, he took his shirt off, and Ridge all of a sudden, he looked like fucking Prince Albert with all the hair that he had on his chest. And he laid down, and you had the lady who had the tape on the chest, and she would rip it off, and he would scream and shriek and cuss, and they were censoring all of the cuss words. Although he did say "Holy Jim Duggan" at one point. And the segment ended with Butch ripping the hair off of Ridge's nipple. This was the best of all the parodies they've done so far. I enjoyed this one. This is one that actually got a laugh out of me. So I like this one. Speaking, by the way, I mentioned, he said, "Holy Jim Duggan." Speaking of Hacksaw Jim Duggan, I got to give a shout out to old Hacksaw. Look, Hacksaw Jim Duggan was one of those characters. He was never the world champion in WWE, but when I think back to the golden age and when I was growing up and I was a kid, you had the Hogans and the Macho Mans and all that, but you had the $1 Million Man, you had Jake the Snake, you had Mr. Perfect, and you had old Hacksaw Jim Duggan. And he has had a rough year. He's actually battled cancer a couple of times. But he battled, I believe it was prostate cancer this past year, and successfully completed radiation treatment and seems to be doing great. I see him sometimes pop up on social media. He does a lot of traveling with his wife, which is very cool to see. This right here is one of the cool things I have. Now, I don't get a lot of autographs anymore. To me, I just think photos, if you happen to see somebody or bump into somebody who, you recognize, or you go to one of these wrestling conventions, photos are better. But this is one of the cool things that I have in my possession. It is a miniature 2x4 signed by Hacksaw Jim Duggan. WWE Hall of Fame 2011. A mini 2x4. It's actually quite genius. So anyway, he said, "Holy Jim Duggan." I said, I got to show a picture of my signed mini Hacksaw 2x4 here, which is, I think is very cool. Very clever. So they aired a video for Andy Kaufman. This was announced earlier today. Andy Kaufman is going to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. He is the celebrity inductee for 2023. They gave the news to Variety. Variety broke the story earlier today. He may have, I don't even remember. When I ran down what my Hall of Fame class would be, I think when I did predictions, I may have mentioned him as the celebrity inductee, but I figured at some point he has to go in, right? I mean, he has to. Even though he never worked for WWE, he made one appearance. He did a promo with Vince McMahon on an old television show, but he was never involved in a match or an angle for them. In fact, he wanted to be, and it was Vince's father who said, "Look, we don't do that sort of thing here. I'm not interested." And kind of shooed him away. And Bill Apter overheard the conversation. Bill Apter is the one who connected him to Jerry Jarrett and Jerry Lawler, and the rest is history. And of course, we had the famous feud in Memphis between Andy Kaufman and Jerry Lawler. And it's very cool. Very cool that he's going to be getting that induction. We'll see if Tony Clifton shows up, or if Tony Clifton maybe accepts the award maybe on his behalf. I'm just wondering if Lawler will be there, because the timing of it is not ideal. Lawler just had a stroke, and it was serious enough that he only recently, I think last week, went home to Memphis. He was in Florida when he had the stroke, because he has a second home down there. And he's been doing outpatient rehab in Florida. So he only first was able to travel back home to Memphis, I think about a week and a half ago. And the claim is he's doing better and he's improving, but it's going to take time before he gets his speech or if he gets his speech fully back to the way it was. I think it's a little strange because, when he had the heart attack many years ago, it wasn't long after, he made sure to record a video so people can see him on camera and see that he was doing much better. Aside from a still photo, we haven't seen video of him. He hasn't recorded anything. So I think this recovery may take a while. I don't know if he'll be there, or if he is at the Hall of Fame, if he's able to travel to the Hall of Fame, if he'll be able to be the one to do the induction. Because to me, the one who should be doing that induction is Jerry Lawler. And this is the year that Andy is finally going in, and it just so happens that Lawler had the stroke just so recently that I don't know, he may not be able to, which would be a real shame because he would be the person to do it. So we'll have to wait and see. But so far, the Hall of Fame class includes Rey Mysterio, who looks like he's going to be the headline inductee. Rey Mysterio, the Great Muta, Andy Kaufman is the celebrity inductee. And unless you're allergic to spoilers, if you haven't already heard it, because it seems to be all but confirmed, that the female inductee this year is going to be Stacy Keibler. That leaves one spot open. And the rumor going around is that they're going to be inducting the first referee into the WWE Hall of Fame. Now, there's no word on who that person is going to be, but the belief is that that final member is going to be a referee. So anybody expecting a big tag team or, Batista or The Rock or somebody, big like that, it's not looking like that. They're keeping the class relatively small compared to previous years. And it may just be Ray, Muta, Kaufman, Keibler, and possibly a referee. And if it's a referee, take your pick, right? Do they put Tommy Young, right? Famous NWA referee into the Hall of Fame? If I had to venture a guess, if a referee is going into the Hall of Fame this year, I think it'll end up being Tim White, would be my guess. I'll throw that out there right now, that if a referee is going into the Hall of Fame this year, I think it'll end up being Tim White. Tim White just passed away within the past year. Very well beloved in WWE. Worked in that company for many, many years. Not only as a referee, but even when he hurt his shoulder and couldn't referee anymore, worked behind the scenes, right? Andre's best friend, Andre the Giant. So that would be my guess. And it would be well deserved. There are a lot of very deserving referees who, if you're going to have a Hall of Fame for the company, deserve to be in that Hall of Fame. Tim White is one. Mike Chioda is another. Earl and Dave Hebner, really. But certainly Earl Hebner, right? Prolific for so many years in that company. I don't see it being him, but we'll see. We have another week. We don't have to wait very long to find out who that last member is going to be. So we had Chad Gable and Otis in his corner, taking on Ricochet with Braun Strowman in his corner. 2 of the 4 teams in the WrestleMania Showcase match. They're going to be joined by the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders. There was a spot early here where Gable stuffed a top rope Hurricane Rana attempt by Ricochet, and then kind of maneuvered him up onto his shoulders. But there was some sort of miscommunication, like a rare miscommunication between these two. It was very awkward, and Gable just ended up slamming him kind of awkwardly down to the mat. Outside of that hiccup, though, I thought this, for the time they gave them, about 10 minutes or so, I thought this was very good. Easily the best thing on the show in-ring-wise. This, as far as in-ring, and then the final segment with Roman and Cody, those were the 2 best things on the show. Gable hit a cliffhanger DDT for 2. He applied an ankle lock. Ricochet slipped out, though, hit a super kick and a knee strike. Gable came right back with the dragon suplex. Otis was cheering on Gable when Maxine came out to the ring, and she took Otis, and they both went to the back. And this distracted Gable. He's looking, where you going, right? Couldn't believe that his boy was leaving him. I couldn't believe his boy went out there with him in the first place. This was Otis making up for the mistake that he made earlier. So this distracted Gable, which allowed Ricochet to hit a Naito Destino. And then he went up top and hit the shooting star press for the pinfall win. I'll be honest with you. I would have preferred that they take a couple of weeks and build a singles matchup between Gable and Ricochet and just give us that at WrestleMania instead of this showcase 4-way match. I know why they're doing it. They want to get as many people on the show as possible. That's fine. I respect that. But put these two guys in the ring at WrestleMania. Put these two, give them a little bit of a story and put them in the ring at WrestleMania and give them a few extra minutes and just let them go out there and do what they do best. Chad Gable has been great in the ring. The problem with Chad Gable is you already know the outcome of the match before he even gets down to the ring. Before he even finishes making his entrance, you already know what the outcome of the match is going to be. But I would have loved to have seen this on the WrestleMania stage. And the thing with these two guys, when they're in that ring, and usually Gable with almost any of his matches, even if when the match starts, it's kind of quiet, they win the crowd over by the end of it. Because he's that fucking good. At least he's on the WrestleMania card, right? He could be completely left off. At least he'll be on the card. But I kind of wish they would have done this at Mania. So then we had to, speaking of Mania, we had the WrestleMania adversaries here. Bianca Belair, the Raw Women's Champion, teaming with her WrestleMania opponent, Asuka. Can they coexist? There's a story we've never heard before here in WWE. Can they coexist? I don't know. Taking on Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. Again, I was digging the pairing with Chelsea and Carmella, so hopefully Carmella, maybe she'll be gone for a week and then she'll be back. It would be too bad if they started this and then all of a sudden it's over. Bianca put Green down, and she hit a handspring into the ropes, followed by a standing moonsault. When she did that, when she hit the ropes, Asuka tagged herself into the match. And Bianca was not very happy about that. Late in the match, Asuka threw Piper into the corner where Bianca was standing. And Asuka went for a hip attack, but she moved, causing Asuka to hit a very frustrated Bianca Belair. Piper charged towards Asuka. Belair shoved her partner out of the way. And we had Bianca powering Piper Niven up onto her shoulders and delivering a KOD. This, we've seen this probably 3 or 4 times in the past. It will never get old. Watching Bianca Belair do that will never get old. It will never not be impressive. And it got a big reaction, as it always does, from the fans. So Bianca wins the match for her team. After the match, Asuka hit Bianca from behind. And when Bianca stood up, Asuka put her down with a spin kick. Corey Graves called it a declaration of war. This is not exactly North Korea here. Calm down. Belair sat up, and she ate a flying knee from Asuka, who came charging in at her. And Asuka then danced to her theme song, and you could hear boos from the crowd. You can hear boos for Asuka. The match here was nothing special outside of the finish. Like I said, the finish is always fun when she does that. But the match was nothing special. This feels ice cold. Like, tag the toe, man. This is like, dead on arrival. There's just no... It's a dead feud. And I hate that I feel that way, but that's how it is. And I just hope the match delivers, because the build to this has I hope the match delivers, because the build certainly has not. But I'll tell you what did. The main event, which was the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, down to the ring, flanked by his special counsel, Paul Heyman, and Solo Sikoa. Roman told the crowd in St. Louis to acknowledge him. And he was immediately interrupted by Cody Rhodes and his entrance music. Cody was in his suit, as usual. I saw that MVP was, and maybe he was saying it in jest, but I saw that MVP was very upset about his character model, how it looks in WWE 2K23. Because I saw there was a shot of him in a suit. And I don't know what it is. I'm not really sure why, whenever somebody is wearing a suit in these 2K games, it's always very wide and very baggy. It's like they're wearing a suit that's, 2 or 3 times too big for their body. And I guess, I assume that's what he wasn't happy about. So he had, made a funny comment about it. But if that's the case, Cody's always out here in suits. I can't wait to see Fat Cody in 2K23. I haven't played the game yet. I have not yet bought the game. I do plan on it. But now I have to buy it, because I can't wait to see Fat Cody in the video game. So Cody said that he heard Paul Heyman talking about the Bloodline having a Cody Rhodes problem, and he wanted Roman Reigns to define what he means by that. Heyman tried to answer. He tried to interrupt, and Cody cut him off. He shut him down. He told him, take a step back. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to him. I'm talking to Roman Reigns. And Roman told him he's not the problem. It's what he represents that is the problem. Cody is what they used to be, like their fathers. He said Cody is and he put it in air quotes, he said Cody is a professional wrestler. He said, I'm a fighter. That's why I'm a megastar. And he pointed out Cody's track record of leaving, starting a promotion that he could not get over in, and then he came back here. He got over, and then his body quit on him. He popped his pec. He said April 3rd, Cody is going to have to look in the mirror and confront that adversity once again, the same adversity that he had to deal with when he got injured. Otherwise, he's just going to do what he always does, and he's going to run like a little bitch. So this is the second time now that we have had a mention without saying the letters AEW, that we've had an AEW reference here on this show. And I actually thought that this was a good one here. That Cody left the company to go start one of his own that he wasn't over in, which is a lie, by the way. He may have been getting a John Cena mixed reaction there at the end, but you can't say Cody wasn't over in AEW. But for the purposes of this story, Cody was not over in AEW. And then he had to come crawling back to WWE, and he gets over, and then he can't stay healthy. So Roman was just, he was burying this guy here. Cody came back and said, what Roman said is true. I did run away. He says that he doesn't hear a lot of people complaining, though, because what he did do was make it so that the people in the back can make a lot more money. And maybe he is just a professional wrestler. He said nobody needs to bring up his father one more time, because if he hears his father's name brought up one more time, he's going to vomit. Which is funny because, again, Cody is the one. Cody is always the one who brings it up first. But now he's about as tired of it as a lot of people are. So he says he doesn't want to hear it anymore. He says that, he doesn't want to hear about Dusty. Dusty is not coming down to the ring to do the bionic elbow, and his brother works somewhere else. He said, let's talk about his Cuban mother, who would tell him to go out there and knock out Roman. He said April 3rd, Roman has to wake up and remember what it's like to lose and to not have those titles. And here's what else happens. He says, Jay is going to leave you. And then Jimmy will leave you too. So no Usos. Guess what happens then? And he looked over at Solo. He goes, by the way, as far as Solo goes, he says, Solo's been glaring at him the entire time. He told Solo Sikoa, you think you're ready, but you're not ready. He said Solo is going to leave Roman also. And when that happens, Paul Heyman becomes just an advocate again. So then you become a man without a family, a chief without a tribe. Roman and Heyman then, Roman was kind of debating what he's going to do, how he's going to respond, is he going to hit him? And ultimately, he just decided to walk out. He walked right past Cody. He and Heyman left the ring. Solo Sikoa stayed behind. And he got up in Cody's face. Roman turned back around when he was in the aisle because he thought Solo was right behind him. And he looks back at the ring with this look like, what is he doing? Right? He's looking at the ring. He thought Solo was right behind him. And here he sees that Solo he's acting on his own. Solo, though, did finally, he was going to leave. And Cody told him, it's like I said, I knew you weren't ready. And that stopped Solo Sikoa dead in his tracks. He was about to deliver the Samoan spike. Cody, though, kicked him in the head. And when Solo fired up, Roman grabbed him and he stopped him and he told him next week. He says, next week. Next week you'll get him. The crowd started a "You're not ready" chant as the show ended. So this was an excellent segment, acknowledging all the Dusty mentions and just flat out saying that, like, in the case of Cody, I don't want to hear it anymore. This is not about him anymore. I'm tired of hearing about him and the fathers. And then doing what Roman failed to do here in this segment. That really was the story of this segment, which is get in the man's head. You know, Roman tried to do it. He failed. Cody didn't take the bait, but Cody got into his head. Cody was able to get into Roman's head with those comments about his family members leaving after WrestleMania. That was a look of fear in Roman's eyes. It was a vulnerability that we don't always see with this character. Cody touched a nerve here in this promo. I'm still not convinced that Cody is going to win at WrestleMania. And as far as that chatter that I mentioned earlier, there is a lot of chatter and people asking questions now tonight on my timeline. Maybe somebody else mentioned this. There were a couple people who asked me about this kind of out of nowhere tonight. You know, what my thoughts are on the idea of saving the tag team championship match for night 2. And instead of doing it on night 1, the question being, should it be the main event or is it not going to be the main event? Opening the show with it on night 2, with the idea that you make night 2 all about the bloodline. You leave the bloodline stuff largely off of night 1, and you make night 2 all about the bloodline. You open the show with the Usos defending the tag team titles against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and losing the tag team titles to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. The idea being that what's going to happen in the main event now? We already had the bloodline losing gold. Are they going to lose all the gold? Can they stop the bleeding, right? Undisputed tag team titles gone. What's going to happen at the end of the show? That would be the idea that you would go with for night 2. I could absolutely see that happening. Yes, it is possible. I don't know that I would do that, but I'm not against the idea. I have to think about that a little bit more, but devoting the entire second night to this whole bloodline story, I could see them doing that. Yes, I could. And then they could do their Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, main event on night 1. So we'll see. But these last 2 face-offs in the ring with Cody and Roman, I think have been stellar. I think they've made for great television. I think they did exactly what they needed to do in this segment tonight. Roman gave it to him. He threw it right in his face, and Cody threw it right back at him. Right? Cody, because again, those comments, he was burying Cody here, right? You had to leave because you couldn't hack it. You couldn't get over. You came back. You got hurt. Right? He's saying all these things about him. And Cody was able to come back and throw it right back in his face. And knock Roman back on his heels, and he had him looking scared by the time this segment was over. So I think they're doing a very good job now building this main event. And they still have 3 more shows left. We know Cody is going to wrestle Solo next week. Solo's undefeated. Solo has yet to be pinned or made to submit. And my guess would be that we will get interference in that match next week. Cody will win by disqualification. But Cody's going to win either way, whether it's by DQ or he pins him. I mean, look, when the Big Show came into WWE back in 99, and I actually think this is a very stupid thing for them to do, they gave away the first match with him and Stone Cold, I think the week before WrestleMania 15. They just gave it away on television as the main event, and they had Austin kick him in the gut, stun him, and pin him. That was their way of humbling him. That was their way of humbling the Giant, instead of preserving him and preserving that eventual match with him and Austin. Maybe Solo takes his first loss on the final Raw before WrestleMania next week. We'll see what they do in that main event. But that main event was really the high point of the entire show. The rest of the show, pretty boring stuff. It was very promo heavy, which it has to be because you are building up matches at WrestleMania. I just didn't think it was a terribly exciting show. Take a look at the Twitter poll. Holding pretty steady, I would say. 65% thumbs up, which is not a bad score. 23.5% thumbs in the middle. And 11% thumbs down. So you guys can go ahead and vote. At Solomonster on Twitter. Let me know what you thought of the show tonight. What did you think of Monday Night Raw? One thing I forgot to mention earlier, today, well, now, of course, it's the 21st, but when we started here, it was March 20th, and it is 29 years since WrestleMania 10 in Madison Square Garden. So the 30th 30th anniversary. It's going to be 30 years next year, but this is 29 years since WrestleMania 10, which is still one of the greatest WrestleMania shows, top to bottom, I think, of all time. Not the best, but certainly has two of the best WrestleMania matches of all time on that show. And I was not at WrestleMania. I watched it from home, and I remember it aired 4 p.m. Eastern in the afternoon was the start time for WrestleMania that year, and a lot of those pay-per-views. But I did go to Madison Square Garden the day before. They had the first fan festival, so now they have fan access. The first ever fan festival they ever did for WrestleMania was in '94. They did it in the rotunda of Madison Square Garden downstairs. And it was not as, I don't know if, I guess I would say organized or as sort of restrictive as the fan access stuff is now. You literally walked out on the floor and there were just wrestlers standing around, and some of them were at tables, but there were just wrestlers standing around. I accidentally bumped into Nikolai Volkov. I backed into Nikolai Volkov. I turned around. This guy, he was wearing his tights. He had no pants on. I'm like, okay, there's Nikolai. And you just had people sort of standing around. But the reason I bring this up 29 years later from Solomonster's experience here at Fan Access is where this photo comes from. This is from 1994. This is yours truly meeting Vince McMahon for the very first time. As you can tell from this photo here, I am so interested in my first meeting with Vince. I could tell you what I was looking at. What I was distracted by. They had a Dunk Doink tank. So whoever was portraying Doink the Clown, I know it wasn't Matt Bourne at that point, but whoever it was who was portraying Doink the Clown, they had this gimmick where, you know, you would throw a ball, hit a target, and if you hit the target, he would fall into the tank of water. And that's what I'm looking at there. But there he is. There's old Vince, old Vinnie Mac, in his 3-piece suit. Oh, if I could chew his ear off about creative, what I would say to this man. So yeah, 29 years ago, if you can believe it there. What is that? Is that a Bugle Boy shirt that I got on? I don't know, but there you go. The two you talk about the mega powers. There you go. The two mega powers meeting for the very first time. Let me also thank you guys for all the love for 800 episodes of The Sound Off. We had episode 800 on Sunday, which is up for your listening pleasure. We had a special countdown on the podcast this week. The 10 best stories ever told in WWE, where I listed and ranked what I believe are the 10 best storylines in company history. That is now up for your listening pleasure on episode 800. It will be hitting the YouTube channel as well later this week. It's about an hour long. And you guys can chime in and let me know your thoughts on that. But everybody who already chimed in with feedback, I thank you. Got a lot of positive feedback on that, which I'm glad. I'm glad that that you guys enjoyed that. So there you go. Let's go to your super chats here. Crack the knuckles. Get ready here. Get ready. Get ready for your super chats. My favorite parts of the show. We got a bunch of them to get into here. We hit 500? I think we did. We hit 500 likes. That was the goal. Yes, we did. Very cool. Very cool. So we will be doing Be the Booker here in just a little bit. Nice. My God. I spilled water all over myself. Wonderful. I soiled myself. Tyler says, imagine Goldberg and Nia Jax signing with AEW. Yeah, Goldberg is officially a free agent. He is no longer under contract at WWE. And then Nia Jax was doing a virtual signing, and she was asked if she would ever consider going to AEW, and she said, sure. I know some of the people there. So that's why we had stories going around today of Nia Jax and Goldberg potentially being up for grabs if Tony Khan wanted to sign one or both. All I would say to that is if Tony Khan is listening, and I will actually do the proper voice, right? Think back to Star Wars. Think back to Star Wars. If I could tell Tony Khan one thing, this is what I would tell Tony Khan about signing Goldberg and/or Nia Jax.
No! No! No!
Riley Archer with the $9.99. Kaufman's dedication to character work and blurring the lines was really ahead of its time in some ways. His influence can be noticed in performers like MJF today. Should have been inducted sooner. Kyle Serradonio, $10 super chat. What happens to Roman after WrestleMania if he loses? Does he become the new Lesnar? Only showing up to big shows and Mania each year, inserting himself into the title picture. Love the show, and congrats on 800. If Roman loses at WrestleMania, I do think he'll take some time off. I don't know if it'll be right away, because this Bloodline story is not going to go away. I think Roman would disappear for a little bit, and then, not like 6 months or anything, but yeah, I mean, he's going to probably get some time off. I don't believe he's listed for the Backlash pay-per-view. I don't believe he's listed for King of the Ring either, King and Queen of the Ring, but yeah, my guess would be that he does a little vanishing act there for a while. He pulls a Bray Wyatt and disappears for a bit. That is if he loses. Not a guarantee he's going to lose. Fire Panda with the $20 super chat. I see videos about days wrestling fans aren't ready for, and I would like to add to that list. One day we will be welcomed to the sound off for the final time, and I am truly not ready for that. Well, all good things must come to an end. That day will come, but you can rest easy because that day is not coming anytime soon. Metal Rules with the $25 super chat. Metal Rules, thank you. Do you ever wonder what happened to Mae Young and Mark Henry's precious little bundle of fingers? I am rooting for him to star in a role as Thing in a future Addams Family project. Congrats on the 800th episode. I can honestly tell you that I never spent one waking second of my day thinking about that fucking hand. Jamie Dorsch with the $100 super chat bomb. Oh my God. Congratulations on 800 episodes. With reports of Austin not being happy with the money offered for the Reigns and Lesnar matches, is it possible he could be offered it for the Saudi show in May with more money on the table then? I don't think so. I just think he doesn't want to do it. I think it's one of those things where if they offered him $5 million, yeah, he would do it. But I don't think that he thinks that that would be a good match for him. And I don't think Austin against Lesnar would be a good idea for Austin at all, for obvious reasons. I'm sure Brock would do his best to take care of him, but just physically, I don't think that would be a smart match for him to take. So if he really wanted to do it, he would do it. I don't think, getting a little bit more money, if it was on a Saudi Arabia show, is going to make a difference. But Jamie, thank you, man. You're the king tonight. Nobody has topped you. Brian Musha with the 1992. Thanks for the nickname and the shout out on the podcast yesterday. Can't stay for the live stream, but would love to know how you remember so much wrestling history. It's all right. Got a lot of empty space up here, so it's all filled with wrestling stuff. No, look, it's just one of those things. I've watched so much wrestling in my life, and it's just been such a fun part of my life that I've watched a lot of it. I've studied some of it, the history of it, and everything, and it just sort of sticks with you. What can I say? I'm a wrestling savant. Oh, it's Silver Tower. Look who's back. Silver Tower dropping 10 gifted memberships here on us. Look at all the sea of green. Our green world order has expanded. We've got a sea of green here in the live chat. A bomb has been dropped. Indeed. That's 10 from Silver Tower and 20 from Paul Hamilton earlier. That just from those two alone. That is 30 gifted memberships tonight. Man. Amazing. Silver Tower. Coming in the clutch yet again. Look at this. He's being very modest. He says, hello. He says hello in the chat. We've got Rizzo. My hearing must be going because I swear some people on Twitter swore to me that Cody was going to be booed out of the building before WrestleMania. I'll keep waiting. I guess, a few more weeks, it'll happen. Shin Super Kick Akumo, when you realize the Intercontinental and US titles are being defended in high-profile matches at WrestleMania. Fucking great. I am very happy about that, especially the Intercontinental. I'm very happy about that. Shin again, when you realize both the US and IC titles are being defended in high-profile matches at WrestleMania, and that is just perfect. Plus the way you hype the IC title match at Mania, you have me ready. Well, Shin is very excited for these two title matches at WrestleMania, but I am as well. That triple threat match is going to be fucking great. Bobby's World 2110. You really pulled a rib on yourself with the Brie mode super chat, my friend. I'm actually kind of surprised it's still on the list after Friday. Oh, it's still there. It is the new $25 super chat. Paul Hamilton with the 50 spot says GWO for life. Portland pop star. Paul, you will always be GWO. You should get GWO tattooed on your arm. Now, don't do that. Don't do that. Paul, I love you, brother. You know that. Dr. Dakota Scorpio, super chats are getting costly for us Canadians. I guess there is the currency exchange. Rodimus Prime with the $20 super chat. Thought the show was okay. The closing segment was great. Really looking forward to their match at WrestleMania. Yes, as am I. Rizzo, my conspiracy theory. Paul Hamilton and Professor Gotti are the same person, but due to tax purposes, he had to change his name. I thought you were going to say, like, witness protection. Now, I don't know what happened to the professor. I hope he's doing well. I hope he's doing okay. Nick Grosso with the 1999. What is your reaction to Andy Kaufman finally going into the Hall of Fame? And would you say he is the greatest celebrity involvement in wrestling history? What referee do you think is getting inducted? I say Earl Hebner. Well, I answered these questions before. If I had to venture a guess, I think it's going to be Tim White. Tommy Young or Tim White. And I think it's great. I think the Kaufman induction is long overdue. I only hope Lawler can be a part of it just because how can he not be, right? Unless he's physically not able to. Hopefully he's at least able to be there. As far as greatest celebrity involvement in wrestling, he's certainly up there. I mean, again, Cyndi Lauper should be in the Hall of Fame, and maybe she doesn't want to go in. It's a little strange that she still hasn't gone in. Mr. T went in. It's hard to argue against somebody like Mike Tyson or Mr. T just because of the impact that their involvement had, which was far bigger than Andy Kaufman's. So when you say greatest, I mean, if you're talking about influence and especially financial influence, you know, you can't rank Kaufman above somebody, I think, like T or Tyson just because of the impact they made on WWE specifically and the money they helped that company make is it's immeasurable. Kumar Jenkins, love what you do. Thanks for being Usi. I'm always Usi. I'm feeling very Usi tonight. In fact, I spilled some Usi on myself before. my crotch. Now my crotch is very oozy. Liquid Sharingan, let's go Braves. Is Liquid Sharingan one of our family members? Because I may have to revoke his membership for that. I may have to revoke his membership. And who are you again?
I'm the Solomonster, damn it.
Liquid Sharingan, thank you. Justin Hesse with the $4.99 GWO shirt officially ordered. He's made a fine choice. If you're wondering, by the way, I want you to welcome Nightbot. Nightbot is going to be part of our live chats here from now on. There he is again. And Nightbot will be helping promote various things, various items here for the show. Skywalker, thank you for the Bane super chat. But one of the things that you'll see, there'll be a link in the chat periodically for the new t-shirt. Direct link, it'll take you right to the ordering page for the GWO shirt if you're wondering where to find it. But Justin says, listening since 2015, congrats on 800 episodes. Here is to 800 more. Justin, thank you. Very happy to have you as part of our little crew here. Rizzo. Hopefully this is not a dumb idea, but how is this for an ending to WrestleMania? Cody leaves with the belt and Roman is berating the Usos. Is that it? Now I thought that's what he broke it up into different super chats. Now you're gonna make me scroll ahead here. They kick him and stare at Solo. Crowd chants Solo, 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 and then Solo delivers the spike to Roman and the crowd erupts. See, if they're gonna chant Solo, 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 they're cheering for me. So yes, I love that idea. I encourage the fans to chant Solo every single week. That would make me very happy. We need a Solo chant in here every single week. Snorhawk 64. What a tournament. I am excited for tomorrow. I would be happy for either team. Yeah, I haven't been keeping up with all the latest stuff, but my friends have been all over that, watching all that stuff. CMJ World, Reigns and Rhodes promo, got goosebumps. Great stuff. Fahad, the $58 super chat. Keep up the great content. Excellent episode yesterday. Fahad, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you very much. And thank you for the support. Rizzo, thank you again for the double super chat. CMJ, what would you think of Lashley against Priest for WrestleMania? I'd rather go Lashley and Bronson Reed. I said that on the podcast yesterday. The Tsunami Splash against the Hurt Lock. How would you handle Bray whenever he returns? What a loaded question that is. At this point, I would think the question isn't so much when, it might be if. If he returns. You know, how I would handle Bray, I was looking forward to seeing the so-called real Bray Wyatt when he first came back. That first promo he cut where he said, "You're getting the real me for the first time." That had me intrigued. I'd like to see them kind of go back in that direction a little bit more, instead of all the, going back to the Fiend or doing the puppet stuff and, howdy doody or whatever, whatever bullshit that was going on before. I'd like to see more of a push in that direction, where we get more of a, not that he has to be just like a regular Joe, but just, more of the real Bray Wyatt. He can still be, creepy and get the crazy eyes and all that kind of stuff. But that had me intrigued, and then they just kind of got away from it. And it just wasn't as interesting to me. CMJ, I wouldn't be holding my breath on that last question. But thank you for the love. Justin Hesse, Edge's head like Mecca Lecca Hi Mecca Heiny Ho. What? Is it Mecca or Mika? Maybe Mika Lika Hi Mika Heiny Ho? Mika Lika Hi, Mika Heiny Ho. What is that from? That's some Disney movie? CMJ, would you ever get a Solo and Mama Monster belts made? I have a Solomonster belt, not to be made for like purchase, but I had a custom one that was made. Sometimes I have it up on the wall here. Joseph Brooks, do you think the best years in WWE had the worst WrestleManias? 97, Stone Cold against Brett was great, but WrestleMania 13 was not good. 2000 was the best year creatively, but that WrestleMania was not good. 13 was the best PG era year, but WrestleMania sucked. So I think you botched that last one. Did you mean 33? I'm assuming you meant 33. Yeah, there were some good years that had some horrendous WrestleManias. 13 was a good example of that. Oh, it's from Pee-wee's Playhouse. I should know that. I used to watch Pee-wee's Playhouse when I was younger. But I have no memory of that. Mika Lika Hi, Mika Heiny Ho. I don't know. Chris Mikesell with the $9.99. What happened with Batista going into the Hall of Fame? I thought Ric Flair was going to announce him from one Evolution member to another. Even Batista is saying he wants to go in. What is the holdup? The holdup is that Batista is in South Africa filming a movie. So I don't know if it's a case of, a few months ago he wanted to go into the Hall of Fame and they waited too long, or a movie project came up. He's filming the second My Spy movie. So he's in South Africa. He's physically not going to be here. So it's not going to happen. It looks like it's not going to happen. Fallout. Have the AEW crowd ever whatted someone's promo? Yes, I've heard what chants in AEW before. Doesn't happen as often, but yes, it has happened before. Juan Ocampo, what is still better than This Is Awesome? Don't at me so. I'm not going to at you. I'm just going to tell you you're wrong. You're just wrong. Motif with the $9.99. Love you all. Love all you do. Solomonster. Random. What if Reigns wins dirty at WrestleMania, then drops the belts to Cody at Backlash? Backlash? You want him to lose the titles at Backlash? Cody and KO Sami against Roman and Usos in a winner-take-all match. Roman gets his 1,000-day reign. Well, here's the problem with your idea. Roman, I believe, has to get to the end of May to get to 1,000 days. Backlash is on May 6th. That don't work for me, brother. So, and I also think that Motif, I love you, but that is a terrible idea after almost 1,000 days to have Roman lose the championships in a 6-man tag. That would be terrible. That is not the way to do it. Brandon Vasquez with the $10 super chat. Buy, rent, and sell the following 3 WrestleMania music video promo packages. Austin vs. Rock, WrestleMania 17, My Way. Shawn and Taker, WrestleMania 26, Running Up That Hill. Daniel Bryan, Triple H, WrestleMania 30, Monster. Oh yeah, the Imagine Dragons promo video. Those are all great. Those are 3 of the best ones. Oh, you're gonna make me rank them though, huh? You're gonna make me rank them. Well, I probably would go. You know what? The 17 is iconic. 17 is an iconic one. But I may give the edge to 26. So I may buy on 26, rent on 17, sell on 30. But they're all fantastic. We have got a Bissell Zones. Cody loses. Does that mean he is also Lugered? I wouldn't say he's Lugered. I think that because he could still win the title. Luger never won the belt. But, you know, Luger, you got to remember, Luger got a helicopter landing on the Intrepid and the body slam on July 4th and a 6-week bus tour across the country. And then he won the match and celebrated as if he was the champion when everybody in the crowd looked at him and said, "You're a fucking idiot. You didn't win anything." That's getting Luger. Cody loses at WrestleMania, especially if the Bloodline gets involved. I wouldn't say he's Luger. It's not exactly the same thing. Daniel Parker, soiled monster. Embrace it. Nah, I don't think so. I don't think that's going to sell too many t-shirts. Nicholas Jacobs with the $10. I'm sorry, man, but in my opinion, Roman doesn't need to hold those belts any longer. Past WrestleMania. He has beaten damn near everybody on that roster. Where do you go after Mania with him as the champion? Oh, I'm not saying I would keep the belts on him. I'm just saying it's to me, very possible that he will keep those belts at WrestleMania. If it were up to me, Cody walks out as the champion. And then you split the titles. You find a way to split the titles coming out of WrestleMania. That's what I would do. I'm not saying I would have Roman retain. I'm just saying I am increasingly thinking that there is a very good chance that he will. Bobby Means, signing both Goldberg and Nia would end AEW. J Media says, do you think? Often. Yes, every day. I think of a lot of things. Thank you, J Media. Skywalker with a 1999. What are your thoughts on the possibility of WWE Hall of Famer Donald Trump possibly getting arrested tomorrow? Should this remove him from the Hall of Fame? Yeah, we're not talking about that. HBK C83. Out of all the Shawn Michaels versus Triple H matches, what is the best one they ever had, not including the match at SummerSlam 2002? Well, you could include the triple threat at WrestleMania 20. I would probably go the triple threat at WrestleMania 20, or if you're talking one-on-one, they had a great World Heavyweight title match in San Antonio on Raw in December of 2003, where they did the, it was kind of like a dusty finish, where Shawn won, everybody thought he won, but it was actually a double pin. And Eric Bischoff is the one who counted the fall, and you know, he ended up not winning the championship. That was the night that Stone Cold came out. I think that was when he became the sheriff or something. So that would get my vote. Probably Raw in December of 2003 would get my vote. But HBK, thank you. And Skywalker, also, thank you for the 1999. Darth Panic. I don't see episode 800 on Google Podcast platform. Yeah, I got a few messages from people today about that. I went, you know, I refreshed the feed. It's a Google thing. For whatever reason, it's just not pulling the latest episode. So it's kind of out of my hands. I would keep checking because I did a refresh of the feed a few hours ago. So it might pop up. Sometimes it just gets hung up somewhere and it takes a few days. When that happens, you guys don't need to wait around because the show is on a lot of other platforms. Even if it's not one that you're comfortable using on a regular basis, you shouldn't have to sit around for days waiting for the show to drop. So if that ever happens, you've got Apple, you've got Spotify, you've got Spreaker directly, which is the host I use. You can download the free Spreaker app. You've got Pandora. I mean, you've got a lot of different places to get that podcast. So when that happens, let me know. But unfortunately, it's out of my hands. Sometimes it just gets delayed. J Media says, how would you if Roman? He's not having a lot of success with these super chats. It's like, I don't know what's going on with J Media. Daniel Parker, bravos for life. See, you were trying to be smart and you fucked up. So I'm going to laugh now. I know you were trying to say Braves, and you fucked up and said Bravos. So, yes, I agree. Bravos for life. Thank you, Daniel. Luther Angel, who will win at WrestleMania? Yes or no? Yes. Sam Dankman Weed. Solomonster, my dear friend, I need some wireless headphones for my overnight job. Do you have the hookup as to where I can get a good pair? I don't know about headphones. I have a good hookup, though, for wireless earbuds that you can use from our good friends at Raycon. You can go to buyraycon.com/Solomonster. Thank me later. I have a pair of them myself. They're very good. Daniel Parker, Rhea stack pinning Bayley is better than Omega and Vikingo. I might have to agree with you on that. And Dr. Dakota Scorpio, what's worse than the what chance or fans going who when they see a wrestler they don't know? For example, Omega versus Vikingo, I do it to myself, but for jokes. Well, as long as you are amusing yourself, I guess that's all that matters. So, thank you, Dakota. So I'm being told that Bravos are Braves in Spanish. Yes, but how am I supposed to know that? As far as I know, he fucked up the super chat. To me, that's funnier. So I would like to just think that he screwed up the super chat, and that puts a smile on my face. So, bravo to you for that. Red Emissary of Darkness with the $2 coming in. Who should win at Wrestle? Yes, I agree. 540 likes here on the stream. The goal was 500. That means that we have to be the booker.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to be the booker.
Oh, you guys. You guys are too much. Look at this. Look at Charlotte Flair's head. Did you see that? That's terrifying. That's even more terrifying than my face on Gunther's body the other night. The timing of these super chats is just impeccable. Sam Dankman Weed, did you see Tony Khan's Fulham meltdown over the weekend? 3 red cards against Manchester United. No, I did not see that. I did not see that. Let's start off here. There it is again. Look at this. My head on Charlotte's body. Look at that. Look at my bust. My bust has never looked better. I can't. Oh my God. Stupid, sexy Solomonster right there. Good Lord. All right. Let's be the booker. Let's see what we do here on the men's side. We begin with the former Intercontinental Champion, Rowdy Roddy Piper. Oh, I remember that. I remember that moment. I remember where I was at that moment when he won that title, man. That place exploded. My mind was blown seeing Piper, who was like he's a big star, winning the Intercontinental title. I always thought that was very cool. Look how happy he looks. Look at that belt, too, by the way. These fucking titles today, man. Even the Intercontinental title today. Compare the belt today that Gunther has to this belt. There's no comparison. Just take that, spruce it up a little bit, and reinstate it. That's a beautiful belt right there. Hot Rod. Going one-on-one with Jacob Fatu. Oh, yes. What a match. What a match. Jacob Fatu against Rowdy Roddy Piper. That's a fucking main event right there. Oh, yeah. We did good. As a great way to kick off Be the Booker. Go ahead and fantasy book that match. Jacob Fatu, man, he would have fit right in back then in that era. Jacob Fatu would have been a world champion back then. He would be a world champion in any era. He's our world champion right now in House of Glory. We begin with Rhea Bloody Ripley, future SmackDown Women's Champion. I like where this is going. This is a hot start here to Be the Booker. I think we're gonna have a clean sweep this week, or tonight, I should say. We still have to do it on Friday. Rhea Ripley gonna go one-on-one with Naomi, former SmackDown Women's Champion, taking on the future soon-to-be SmackDown Women's Champion. I don't know what Naomi is up to. I don't know where she's gonna end up. I have not heard anything about Naomi's status. I don't know if she's still under contract to WWE. I have no idea. But I know that would be a very good match. That only leaves one match left, and we may not be getting a tag team inductee into the Hall of Fame this year, but we're going to get a tag team match. We're going to kick things off with Proud and Powerful, LAX, Santana and Ortiz. Very sad hearing that they had a falling out, and they may not be partners anymore. Santana's still out, rehabbing from the torn ACL. Not sure if we'll ever see them back together again. Although it's wrestling, so never say never. We'll probably see them on the convention circuit in 20 years, signing autographs together. Let's see who it's going to be. Hey, Griga. Shout out to Griga. What's going on? Santana and Ortiz are going to be taking on the two-man power trip, Stone Cold and Triple H. I'm so excited I hit the button twice there. Austin and Triple H against Santana and Ortiz, and indeed we had a clean sweep. It'd Be the Booker here tonight. Yes. That was great. 3 great matches right there. We have Roddy Piper against Jacob Fatu, Rhea Ripley against Naomi, Austin and Triple H against Santana and Ortiz. I like the sound of that. It's not often that we get 3 bells. Tonight was one of those nights. Boots with the $5 super chat. For Stacy Keibler's induction, do they put the ropes up? Her ring entrance was the best. Her legs deserve their own induction. I think they should. And Riley, Rhea wins, obviously. Love the work, Solo. Thank you guys for all of the super chat love, all the memberships tonight. We have a lot of new members in our family, so glad to have you all. And again, for those of you who may have missed it earlier, we do have a new GWO t-shirt. It is up on Pro Wrestling Tees right now. You asked for it. Ask and ye shall receive. You can go up on our store, prowrestlingtees.com/Solomonster Sounds Off. Get yourself a shirt and be part of our little crew here. I'm going to be back live with you on Friday night. We're going to be talking some Smacketh Down. But before SmackDown, that's the next WWE show. Before SmackDown, though, we have AEW Dynamite on Wednesday. And we are getting the Dream Match. We are getting Kenny Omega one-on-one against El Hijo del Vikingo. Which, whether you are aware of who Vikingo is or not, I will tell you right now, you are in for a treat. Because it is going to be awesome. It's going to be a great match. And we'll see if there is any continuation. I'm sure there will be in some way of the storyline involving Hangman and the Elite. We'll see where that goes. So I'm going to head out. Thank you again for all the messages about 800. Moist Kite just renewed his channel membership. He is now a member for 2 months. Remember, the longer you're a channel member, especially if you're a gifted member, that's going to expire after 30 days. You keep it going because, you know, each time that you advance by a month, you get to a certain benchmark, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, you get a new badge. Could be a skull, could be something else. There's different levels. There's levels. As Charlotte Flair would say, there's levels to this. So shout out to all the skulls in the chat. You guys are awesome. All right, I'll see you Wednesday night for the Dynamite stream. Until then, peace.